Hello there. It's another beautiful Saturday morning, and I welcome you to this edition of Feminine Scope. The station is OGBC on 90.5 FM. How's the weekend treating you, or how are you treating the weekend? Anyway, I hope you're enjoying yourself. If not, you better do and have a change of mind, because life has got all those twists and turns. You've got to hold on tight, and off you go. In the words of Nicole Kidman, this program is to educate and motivate this generation, and that's why we invite strong ladies and women who are on top of their chosen fields of endeavor. They want to share their experiences with us, especially how they've been able to climb the ladder, how they've been able to deal with issues of life. My name is Toyin Sogbesan. You call me TS. My guest today is Pastor Mrs. Funso Fayokemi Otulana, a family life practitioner, marriage counselor, and a peace ambassador. It's nice to have you on this program.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Yes, great. I like your figure.
Thank you, ma.
Nice having you. So we'll start from the very basics. We'd like to know who you are. Pastor Mrs. Funso Fayokemi Otulana. What was growing up like for you? Who were your parents? Where were you born?
Okay, the name is Fayokemi Funso Otulana. And my dad was from Erua in Oyo State.
Oh, so close to us.
My mom was from here. I use was because they are both lit right now.
Oh.
Yeah. Growing up for me was a bit funny and challenging. Oh. I grew up to not know my dad.
You didn't know your father?
Yes.
Wow.
I learned he died on my second birthday. Wow. But I just noticed that for a long time, nobody celebrated my birthday. Nobody get to talk about my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah. So one day I was going through my mom's stuffs, and then I saw my dad's birth certificate, and I saw my birthday on it. So I knew why my birthday was not being celebrated. But right from that year that I discovered that, I made up my mind.
Do you share the same birthday with your father?
No. Death is
Okay.
what we shared. He died on my birthday.
Oh.
So my birthday was not celebrated for a long time. So the year I discovered was the year I told myself, Fayokemi, you are going to celebrate every birthday as long as God gives you breath. And that has been it for me. Growing up was funny because, like I said, I didn't know my dad. In fact, for some time, I didn't know my mom, so to speak. This is it. I grew up staying with my grandma, and then my grandma was not staying with my grandpa. They were both living in Erua. So I was staying with my grandma during the week. Then I was staying with my grandpa over the weekend.
How come? Why were they not staying together, even though they were in the same town?
They were in the same town. My grandfather had many wives.
Oh.
My grandma was one of the wives. And then he was living with only the last wife. I don't really know their story anyway, but that was the system I met. So I'll be with grandma Monday to Friday. Then by Friday evening after school, I'll be with my grandfather. And my grandfather loved me. And maybe because he lost my dad earlier or something. So that was me growing up. But I knew my mom used to come around. They would say, yeah, Funke has come. Yeah, Funke has come. Funke is my elder sister. So she would come around to check once in a while. Then along the line, one of my aunt, who is my superhero. When I hear something like women supporting women, she's the one that comes to my mind. She's half sister to my dad. But I learned they grew up together like a twin, born around the same period, but from different mothers. But they just took to themselves. And I think that was one of the good things my grandfather, as a polygamist, did for them. Okay. You can really differentiate all of them, even though they were from different moms. And so she took interest in me. As a matter of fact, my mom later told me that after I was giving birth to her, my father showed up at the hospital and saw me. He said, I look exactly like this aunt of mine, and that I'm her daughter and all of that. So eventually she was the one that took me in. So I left Erua to live with my aunt in Ibadan in 1982.
Okay. So at what age?
That was 5 going to 6.
Okay. So that's growing up for you. But then I'd like to know the schools you attended.
All right. So
I've
started school in Erua. For whatever reason, I was young, but everybody in the compound, you know how that the feeling setting is. We're living in the family compound and everybody was going to school. I was not their age mate. I was younger than all of them, but I must give it to myself. I was smart. I'm still smart and intelligent.
Oh, I like that. So, you're still smart.
I'm still smart and I'm still intelligent.
I like that.
So when everybody was going to school, I felt left out, even though I knew they were older than me. Those were the seasons where you have to put your hand to your hairs before you could be admitted to school. Yes, I'm that old. Even though I'm not looking at it.
You must have heard that in the story.
I didn't hear in the story. I went through it. Yes.
Are you
because
serious?
this was the era of Bolaige's free education. So I started school in Erua, even though they had to admit me, not because I was qualified to start. I was not old enough to start, but because everybody was going to school and I was always crying. And because my grandma loves me, she was ready to give me anything. So they had to speak to them in school. And then they spoke to whoever was in charge. And that's how I started school. But by the time I got to Ibadan, oh my word, that was 1982 December. By 1983, when school was resuming after the New Year celebration, I was told I had to return and start all over again. And so coming to Ibadan, I started from Okeado Baptist Primary School.
Okay.
That's on Liberty Road.
From primary one.
Primary one.
Right.
And I must say that was a setback for me.
Oh.
Because as at that point, my cousins that I was staying with, who were actually my age mates, they were probably in primary 2, primary 3.
Oh, no.
So I had to start from primary 1. And then that was how I think the major setback I had in my
How
education.
old were you?
I was 6.
And you're talking about setback. It's 6, you're in primary 1.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Because my cousins were the standard. Yeah, they were the standard.
You
Even
were
though
using
the school I went to, eventually, I was the youngest in the class. But when I get back home with my cousins, I was too old for that class.
Okay.
Do you get where I'm coming
yes,
from?
I
Yeah.
do.
So for the school I went to, I was like the superstar. I was the youngest. So I started from Okeado Baptist Primary School, owned by Okeado Baptist Church, which was my guardian's church. I started from there. And then when I was done, I had another major issue. When I got to primary 6 and it was time to go to secondary school, if you're an Ibadan person, you know that the choicest school to go to for a girl was schools like Queen's School in Akpata. We were living in Akpata. So going to Queen's School would have been the ideal thing. St. Teresa's College,
Thank
St. Anne's College.
Thank God you acknowledge St. Teresa's College.
Oh,
I won't say more than that.
so you're part of the brown and white.
Yes, brown and white.
So
Up school.
So that was the ideal thing. That was what was the usual thing. But unfortunately, I don't know which one it is right now. I did my exams. Then, those days when the result is out, nobody posts it anywhere. You can't check anywhere. You have to go and pick your form and all that. So the day I was picking my form, I must say that my guardians are people who are in love with their hometown. There's any weekend they don't go back home. In fact, that's how I got to know my aunt anyway. She comes around to check her dad every weekend. But even after the demise of their parent, that was a culture for her and her husband. So this particular Friday that I went to pick my form for school placement, we were going to travel. So I just got back. In fact, the school they put me in, nobody has heard about it in our family. Okeado High School. Okay. That's on Joyce B Road. And so I got back home and everybody was like, we don't even know the school, but don't worry, go and keep the form. When we come back, we'll go and change the school. That's usual practice. You go buy a particular form or something, and then they will place you. So I gave the form to my older cousin to keep for me so that when we come back, then we'll start the change of school process. But when we came back, where's the form? I said, I gave it to so person. The person said, no, you didn't give me. We started looking for the form. This has never happened before. Even if you are not going to change school, you still need that form to even take to the new school to say that you have been admitted there. We really didn't know what to do until an older uncle showed up and said, who was an educationist, and said, even if you misplace the form, the normal thing will have been to go back to Ministry of Education and then they will tell you what to pay and collect another form. And school has resumed as at this time. So by the time we got to know that, and he took me to the Ministry of Education and we started the process, a lot of the school have already finished admission and they already had enough, students for the year. And so I don't have any other choice than to go to the exact place where I've been placed. I believe that there's a hand of God behind my education. We started looking for the school because we didn't know the school. It was a 1980 school, so it was not popular like the St. Anne's, like the Queen's School. It was a school, I think, it was established in 1980 by then Chief Bolaige. And so that's how I started. So when I was going in, I went in with the mindset of, I'm not going to be here for a long time. Everybody will do. Now, I'll soon be out of here. And so we started. And then it was after I started, they started GS3. Okay. It used to be Form 5. Maybe the change of system, whatever. Eventually, I didn't change the school. I was there. Funny enough, another cousin of mine was admitted into the same school, but he left me there to attend ISI. So it wasn't because they could not change. It wasn't because there was no opportunity to change. But I just believed that there was a hand behind my destiny that I knew that I had to pass through that process. And so that was how I stayed back in Okeado High School. And by the time I was in SS3, I became the senior prefect, the head girl for the school.
Oh, great. At least you have something to show for it.
Exactly.
And it's in your CV as head girl. But as head girl, the way you sound now, you must have been very tough.
Really? Was I tough? Okay. Funny enough, head girl for me was not an ambition. I don't know. Those days, it was usually not your thing. It's usually the teacher's thing. In fact, the funniest part about my education is the fact that after DS3 and there was time for placement to either art or sciences, I wanted art. Okay. You know what? I can pick a novel now, no matter how voluminous it is. Until I'm done, I won't put it down. Okay. So I knew that I dashed my area of interest. Mm-hmm. But my teacher felt with these good results, you should be in the sciences. Okay. So they put me in science class. I didn't need a fortune teller to tell me I don't belong here. I go to chemistry class and I'm looking like, remember I've told you that I know I'm intelligent and I know I'm smart. So this thing here that you are speaking and is sounding like Greek, if I can't get it, it means that I don't belong here. It's not because I'm a dullard. It's not because I'm not smart.
It's not meant for you.
I'm not meant for here. So by the time I was done with SS1, I knew this is not my place. So I went to the school counselor and I said, I want to change my class. Yeah, if you change, I said, I want to change and even start from SS1. I'm willing to repeat so that I'll go to where I belong. Because I've noticed that when we're going to chemistry lab, we pass in front of the literature lab. And Fayokemi, we sneaked and entered the literature class instead of going to chemistry lab. Who does that? So I know this is my place. So release me. Let me go there. And I don't know. They've had a meeting in the staff room where they've decided I'm the crown head girl for my set. Wow. And you know how it used to be. Head girl cannot come from any other class except the sciences.
Science class.
Because I remember for my set, I was the head girl, the science student. My assistant was also a science student.
So you eventually ended up being a science student?
My word.
Okay. And how was your result?
Oh,
the
my.
School set result.
By the time I get to SS1, they didn't change for me. They actually asked me to go back home, collect a note from home to permit them to change my class. I got back home and my guardian said they should give me the letter she gave them for them to put me in sciences. Because she was not the one that gave them permission to put me there. So if they want to change, they should just change. So nobody was listening to me. And so I ended up being there. So at some point, I became rebellious.
I'm interested in your result because of our time. How did it come out?
So it came out that every other thing that was not science related, I made it. Except for my physics and chemistry. What? Because I did geography and I did well. I did economics and it was good. Okay. But my physics and chemistry, I think they were P7.
Oh, no. So you had to retake this.
So I knew it before I wrote the exam. Because it was at the last minute I just reminded myself that, Kemi, you are not doing anybody. These results will come in your name, not in the name of the people you were rebelling against. But by the time I realized that, it was really too late. Maybe everything would have been FNA anyway if I didn't come to that realization. So I knew I was going to do that exam again.
Okay. So how did you feel as a head girl? Because there is every lesson in whatever it is that we do on this program. How did you feel as head girl going back, repeating the class?
The good part is that you don't go back to the same school to repeat.
They might not even know not to go back to the school.
No, most times they don't even admit you. I'm sure the school won't admit me as the head girl to come back to repeat. Okay. And most times we don't. Even till date, I don't think anybody does that. So what happened? Go and retake WAEC in your former school.
So how did you retake?
So when I was going to retake, I had a home lesson who was taking me maths. And he saw me and then spoke to my guardian. And he said something I can't forget that has become a lesson for me that I speak to others about. She said to my guardian, she said, kò sí ọmọ tí kò ní nǹkan ṣe, tẹ́ fẹ́ kó ṣe, kọ́ ló fẹ́ ṣe. Meaning that there's no child that does not have an ambition, that does not have a vision. But sometimes what you want them to do might not be what they really want to do. So why don't we find out what this girl want to do and let's support her? And that was my breakthrough. So they asked me, what do I really want to do? And I said, I've said it right from SS1. I'm meant for the heart, not the sciences. At most, I'm meant for the social sciences, but not sciences. And so they agreed with me. I was going to recite my SAM, and then what are the subject combination? And I can't forget. Maybe he's listening somewhere because I can't find the man again. The name was Mr. Olashupo. And so I had to re-register. And this man teaching me maths said, I'm going to go beyond maths. I'm going to recommend textbook for you for this new subject that you didn't do before that you have to do, because now I had to do commerce, I had to do economics and government. So I sat at home and read. Guess what? I resat my exam and I had A1 in government. For a student that didn't go through from SS1 to SS3, I sat at home and read those textbooks and did my past questions. So really, the lesson for me is that find out what you want to do. As parents, let's find out what our children want to do. Our job is not to really direct their lives. Our job is really to just monitor and guide.
Yes.
We are guardians. We are not directors. We are managers. We should just help them manage what they want to do. And so that for me was the first lesson, that really I can do whatever I put my mind to do. And there's really a part of your passion. There's really a part of, there's an innate power and strength that we all have. If we channel it to the right quarters, there's nobody that cannot succeed.
Great lesson there. From secondary school, which higher institutions did you attend? Very briefly.
First school was Ibadan, the Polytechnic Ibadan, Hirua Campus, Mass Communication.
Okay.
So after that, I went to Olabisi Onabanjo University. I entered Ogun State University, but graduated from Olabisi Onabanjo University, political science. And then I had my master's degree in peace and conflict study from the University of Ibadan.
So I can't say great or sweat. It's great or UI.
You can imagine that. In fact, I kept my first receipt to just show anybody who care to listen that I entered Ogun State University, not Olabisi Onabanjo University.
But that's how it is now. Anyway, your certificate reads Olabisi Onabanjo University. It is well. My guest on this program today is Pastor Mrs. Funso Fayokemi Otulana, a family life practitioner, married counselor, and a peace ambassador. You're a powerful woman. You speak so powerfully. And when I saw this counselor, married counselor, peace ambassador, family life practitioner, all these three rolled into one body, one person. What do all this entail?
All right. All of this for me shows that I'm passionate about humanity.
Yes.
Because even as a family life practitioner, what I'm bringing is peace.
Okay.
Yeah, what I'm bringing is peace. As a counselor, what I'm fighting for is also peace. And so everything centered around peace. I believe that there's so much we can achieve if we have a peaceful environment, if we have peaceful homes, especially knowing fully well that the family is the production factory of the society. There's no nation without the family. And so once the family is together, once the family values are right, then the nation can be better and greater.
Right. So talking about family life, your husband, who is he? And how did you meet him? Where did you meet him?
All right. My husband is an architect by training, a pastor by calling, Pastor Funso Otulana, an Ijebu man. An alumni of the great Mapoli. He did architecture at the Moshood Abiola Polytechnic. We met in Ibadan. He came to serve in Ibadan. Yeah, because he grew up here in Abeokuta and then finished for Mapoli, then came to Ibadan to serve. And so while he was serving, he was attending my church, and that was where we met.
Great. And how is the marriage?
We've been married now for 18 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
How are the children doing?
They are good. They are fine.
We thank God for that. So let's talk about after school, your working experience. Did you work anywhere? Because from this, a married counselor, family life practitioner, peace ambassador, have you worked
All right.
on any
After Poly, I didn't go straight to university, so I worked briefly with Nigerian Tribune, Malifa Lafia in Ibadan. Okay. There briefly before going back to school, because the normal thing would have been for me after Poly to go for my HND. But I have this mentor who was my lecturer who had told me, you aren't coming back here. Go to university, do something else with your life. And so I worked briefly with Nigerian Tribune before I went back to school. Even the deal was supposed to be for me to be still working and going to school, but I just felt I'd rather concentrate on my schooling. Let me leave this and face this instead of juggling between Agowe and Ibadan. And then after school, I had to stay 1 year before I was mobilized for NYC.
What? Another 1 year?
Yeah, 1 full year.
Why? How?
Backlog of NYC from school and all of that. So I had to wait for my set 1 full year, because I remember working with the church office for 1 full year before going for service. For NYC, I was posted to Ibadan. And then, because I'd actually gotten my marriage certificate. Okay. I don't want to say I've gotten married because I didn't move out of our house. That's another story.
No, it doesn't matter. Once you are married, you are married.
I've gotten my marriage certificate. That's the way I want to put it, because I was still home. So I was posted to Queen's School Ibadan. So I served the school I wanted to go to. Can you see Faith and Destiny? School I'd love to go to. I ended up being there as the youth corps. Yeah, 7 there. Then after my NYC, I started teaching at a private school. That's Victory Christian College at Oluyole Estate in Ibadan. Before I went back for my master's at the University of Ibadan, which was at that point was when we relocated to Abeokuta in 2012. So coming to Abeokuta, Abeokuta has been good. I work with a private organization. The first one I worked with was a real estate, and the second one was a feed mill. Then afterwards, I started my own crèche.
So you're on your own as we speak.
Yes.
Thank God. I want your advice for this generation. You're a counselor, even though you say marriage counselor, but with what you have been through, and then what is expected of today's children or today's young girl child, not losing hope and believing in oneself. I want sharing from your experience that we've heard over time. Let me have your advice.
My advice is this. We quote a scripture that says, when the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? And a lot of time we make it sound like there's nothing the righteous can do. But I love to say that the former governor of Ogun State gave me the answer. When Governor Ibukule Amosu came, there were certain roads that were too narrow. And so we thought they would be like that forever. But he brought bulldozer and bulldoze everywhere. And so we have flyovers and everything. So I love to tell people, when the foundation is destroyed, the righteous can go back and rebuild. And so I want to say that no matter where you are right now in the journey of life, you can always start over. You can always start again. There's always a second chance if you are only willing. Yes, it will take more effort. You know, it will take time, it will take effort. But if you are deliberate and you are intentional, there's really nothing that you put your mind to that you cannot achieve. Be diligent enough, be visionary enough to give your destiny, to give your vision, to give your goal all it takes. Because you cannot give it all it takes and God will not support you. And I want to say that no matter your background is not meant to put your back to the ground. It's supposed to be like, it's a learning curve and it's like a tunnel. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. So don't give up. Brush yourself up. Life happens to all of us. But if we don't give up, we can conquer the world.
Amen. That's just it. Thank you so much. And as an ambassador, as a counselor, as a proprietress, do you party? Do you have time at all to unwind?
Oh, work and no play will make anybody dull.
So despite all, you still have
despite
time.
all, I still take time, you know. The truth is this. Even out of obligation, sometimes you have to party. Your friend is doing something, you have family, you know, outing and all of that. Still in Badon, like a few days ago, they're about for a family outing all the way from here and all of that. So the truth is that we are triple brain, spirit, soul, and body. We give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. We have to relax. We learn to enjoy our life. All work and no play. We make our life boring. Life shouldn't be monotonous.
Even pastors' wives do party.
Yes, because my daughter and my son will get married someday. Some people will be there for me. So I have to be there for others. Church members will do things. If we don't go, who will support them? Yeah, that's why I said sometimes it can even be obligatory. It might be as a responsibility or as a duty. But whichever way, that's part of life. That's part of life.
And do you dance?
Yes, and I want to say that I love to psych myself that I'm a good dancer.
Are you serious? So what sort of music do you dance to?
Well, I still enjoy my Ebenezer Obey.
Wow.
I still have a part of Sonny Ade that I dance to. I
They
still
are
have some.
philosophical too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still have some R&B because if I want to be romantic with my husband,
Wow.
I don't know. Is it John 3:16? I'll be romantic with him you know. And that's why I said once the
God
lyrics,
so loved the world
you
that he
know,
gave his
so
own
for me, I
king.
think once the lyrics is clean, because some of the jaga things they sing these days, I don't get it. But you know, you just have some.
I
For
love
instance,
this, my pastor misses.
For instance, I love Beautiful Nubia.
Wow.
He's philosophical.
Wow.
He sings some senses.
Can we just do one together, if I know?
If you know Gemma Balani, you know,
you like
he's
okay. You are romantic,
know,
really.
This is me telling Christian out there that you too can come up with romantic songs and we will dance to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you go to parties, you love Obe, King Sunny Ade.
Yes.
And when you're listening, you love Beautiful Nubia. Which one would you want me to play for the purpose of this program?
For the purpose of this program, what do I want? Can you give me the Beautiful Nubia that we just sang now?
Why not? You get it.
Thank you.
You asked for it. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ń ká mi láyà, mo wí o. Ọmọ kan fẹ́ràn o tí wọ́n ṣe bá a sọ̀rọ̀ kò yé mi rárá o. N kò rí irú ẹ̀rí èyí rí o. N kò rí irú ìfẹ́ èyí rí o. Ọmọ tó níwà tó sì lẹ́wà o, mo fẹ́ mọ̀ lé rẹ o kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Jọ̀wọ́ mo fẹ́ mọ àwọn òbí rẹ o bèbí mi yé. Jọ̀wọ́ mo fẹ́ mọ àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ rẹ o. Ọmọ oníwà tútù yìí o, mo fẹ́ mọ̀ lé rẹ o kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Bèbí jẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ. Ọ̀ní kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Olólùfẹ́ jẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ. Oh, what a feeling, wanting me all love, I can't help myself. Baby, I wanna love you.
I wanna be with you, both night and day. Share my life with you.
Baby, I wanna love you.
Oh, what a feeling, locking up my lips. I can't express myself.
Baby, I wanna love you.
I wanna live with you, grow old in your hands. I'm babies with you.
Na 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 na. N kò rí irú ìfẹ́ èyí rí o. N kò rí irú ẹ̀rí èyí rí o. Ọmọ tó níwà tó sì lẹ́wà o, mo fẹ́ mọ̀ lé rẹ o kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Jọ̀wọ́ mo fẹ́ mọ àwọn òbí rẹ o bèbí mi yé. Jọ̀wọ́ mo fẹ́ mọ àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ rẹ o. Ọmọ oníwà tútù yìí o, mo fẹ́ mọ̀ lé rẹ o kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Bèbí jẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ. Ọ̀ní kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Olólùfẹ́ jẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ.
Oh, what a feeling, wanting me all love. I can't help myself.
Baby, I wanna love you.
I wanna be with you, both night and day. Share my life with you.
Baby, I wanna love you.
Oh, what a feeling, locking up my lips. I can't express myself.
Baby, I wanna love you.
I wanna live with you, grow old in your hands. I'm babies with you.
Yeah, that's all I'll give it. Wọ́n máa bá ẹ lọ ní o, àó àjẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ o. Wọ́n máa bá ẹ lọ ní o, bébí o jẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ o. Wọ́n máa bá ẹ lọ ní o, àó àjẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ o.
Oh, my bad, love you.
Baby, I wanna love you.
Thank you so much for finding time to be on this program.
It's my pleasure
Thank you.
being here.
Thank you. In fact, you're so interesting.
Thank you.
Despite all the downturns and all that, it is good. This is how far we'll go on this edition of Feminine Scope on OGBC 90.5. I thank my guest again, Pastor Mrs. Funso Fayokemi Otulana, a family life practitioner, married counselor, and a peace ambassador. I also thank my producer, Temilade Tijani, assisted by Fumilayo Akintoye. My studio manager is Bukola Olatunji. My name is Toyin Sogbesan TS. Till next week, when we bring you another strong and interesting woman, do enjoy the rest of your week.